Well, about this time, that would be in the fall of 43, or maybe the spring of 44, must have been 43. General Marshall, Chief of Staff of the Army, had become acutely aware that the soldiers, many soldiers, didn't really know what this war was all about. And the reason for that was not only the provincialism of America at that time. In 1942, for instance, in 1942, 1 out of every 4 Americans lived on a farm or drew the primary living from agriculture. So America was very provincial at that time. And there was no such thing as a portable radio. I don't know whether they were forbidden in the training camps, but I know we never saw one. There was no such thing. They didn't exist technically. And we practically never saw a newspaper. We were so busy training for combat. I don't remember anybody, certainly I never got a newspaper from home, and I don't remember anybody that did. So we really had no knowledge of what was going on in the war. General Marshall became sensitive to this, or was sensitive to it, and he set up a program called Information and Education Program. And somebody found this letter in the file that I had been at CBS, and I was assigned to it. And at that time, I guess, I'm uncertain again, but my memory tells me I was still in Florida. In the training routine during basic training, everybody worked 50 minutes and then had a 10-minute rest break, which we needed, and then went right back to it. And one 10-minute rest break a week, I was to give the soldiers a report on the war. And we had 2 others. There were 3 of us, 3 enlisted people and 1 officer in the group. I think we were given access to I think they put in an Associated Press news ticker in this office, so we had access to the news. So I would write up a 10-minute summary and be prepared to give it to the soldiers over and over again during the days when their cycles fell. But I soon discovered they didn't know what I was talking about, because the main action of the war at that point was in Stalingrad. They didn't know where Stalingrad was. They didn't know where Russia was. They didn't know where Europe was. They had never been outside the United States. They didn't know anything about geography. So I got a fellow who assigned to me, who had been a sign painter in civilian life, and he started drawing big maps for me on a big poster board or something, showing here's where you are now in Florida, and here's America, and here's the Atlantic Ocean, and here's Europe, and here's where Russia is, and here's where Stalingrad is. And then we would go to a close-up map showing the battlefront in Russia. Well, it was intensely interesting to me. I learned so much about the whole problems of how do you communicate, how do you use visual tools, which I had no experience on previously. It helped me very much. I learned an awful lot from it, and I never dreamed that the experience I had learning how to present news visually so that soldiers could understand it would have any practical relevance to my post-war work, but indeed it did.